Got you.
on this computer. Okay, it looks like it's recording. So,
Yeah, it's. I can see the record button.
oh, awesome. So we're good.
Great.
Yeah, how you doing today?
Yeah, really good, really good. So I had to nip my nan to hospital, but apart from that, it's been a pretty cool day.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah,
Nice and chilled out.
yeah, nice.
Had a gym session with a friend, which was really great actually, because she's a professional bodybuilder and she's very, very energetically tuned. So she's actually been vegan for 3 years. And she competes professionally.
Cool.
And now I'm talking to her about my idea and how I've been vegan for 3 years and how I'm aiming to try and be the first person in the world who can gain size and gain muscle without eating. So it's obviously a real, the amount of inner work and the amount of subconscious programming I've had to go through to try and get to this point is quite intense, but she's the first person I've met in the bodybuilding industry that's actually on a level can understand what I'm saying. Energetically we matched quite well, and when I broke it down to her how I see this happening, she was very, very optimistic about it, and it's the first person I've spoken to, so it's very exciting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm so glad you're bringing this up, because this was fascinating what you were saying the other day when we were talking about how you've been on a breatharian journey and a fasting journey for a while now, a few years, right?
Yeah, so last year I spent over a third of the year without food. I did seven-day hard dry fasts, no food, no water, no contact with water. I did 14-day dry fast, no food or water, but that was bathing in pink Himalayan salt every day because it contains 84 of the 90 minerals found in the human blood system. So obviously you'll externally absorb some of these into your body. So mentally, whether that is true or not, but obviously because I believe it's true, this is subconsciously, my body listens, your cells listen to every thought and every word you say. So if I'm telling myself I'm going to be nourished and remineralized by these minerals, I'm sitting in the bath, my cells are listening to this, and I could be sitting in a bathtub full of celery juice for all it knows, but your cells are listening. So I actually believe that eventually I'll get to the point where I won't need to eat food because I'll realize I've never needed it in the first place. That obviously you've read the Bible a few times, you know it quite well. In the Bible it says everything you need is within you, and I think this can be taken literally when you actually work back all the subconscious programming that we've had from various meat industries, and the meat industry is just falling on its arse, like the dairy industry massively at the moment. I mean, it's beautiful to actually see every day. I've just seen Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, their whole family's gone plant-based.
Yeah.
So the more and more people like this that do it and jump on this bandwagon, the more it becomes everyone's reality, because the more we all start to see it, the more it becomes everybody's reality, which is great for every sentient being on the planet.
That's incredible. That's it's so cool that you're able to stay on this fasting journey and obviously still be working out, right? You still go to the gym regularly, you're still putting on muscle, you're still building, and not having to be attached to food or feeling like you need a certain amount of protein or a certain amount of food to be able to build.
Right. Well, this is the thing. I mean, currently I'm on soups, smoothies, nut milks, shakes, and various other things this year. Because what I plan to do is the first 3 months of the year, I'm on all liquids. So that means I could even throw peanut butter into a blender, as long as that liquid, for the first 3 months, it can be as thick as whatever. And then after the first 3 months, the soups and the smoothies come out of it and it goes juices, milks. So every 3 months, the liquids get finer and finer. And the reason I'm doing this is because what I'm trying to record and to show people is my experience from eating meat, when meat to pescatarian, then I cut the fish out and I was still eating eggs, and the eggs went and the dairy went. So it's a very gradual process. I wasn't one of these people that just went vegan overnight like this. So what I'm trying to show is, even though I know I've done a long period of time being breatharian, I really want to show people how you can transition slowly. So you can take the liquids, and if anyone follows Sadhguru, he only eats fruits and raw veg, because he says that all of these are in and out of your system within 3 hours, which if we are energy vibrating at a certain frequency, that means you haven't got any foreign energies in you for that long. So when you put that fruit or veg into you, it's in and out your system within 3 hours, which means you're back to your source energy very quickly, which I agree with. So that's kind of the process I'm trying to do it, to show people that if you do it slowly, subconsciously your body lets go of things very slowly instead of panicking that you've done something too quickly. And then your cells listen and you start to shut down because you're panicking, you've done it too quickly. If you do it very gradually, you see the process and how you almost get insights very slowly, like, oh, I've never needed that, I've never needed that, I've never needed that. And then it's almost like, oh, wow. And maybe by me doing it this way, someone will see and think, oh, now I've seen him do it, I can just do it overnight like that. But some people won't be able to do that. So, and I'm actually halfway through writing my first book about fasting, which it covers everything from dry fasting, wet fasting, and it's got a bit of a cheeky name to it. So I'm calling it Fast, Hard and Dry, and Sometimes Wet.
I love that. That's really interesting because there are so many different ways to fast. Yeah. And, you know, there's different ways to go about it and there's different ways to do it, which is funny because fasting is really just like, it should be simple, but there is a lot of guidelines and ways to do it.
With yourself, did you start fasting or was it you went breatharian? Because I know you're very much into the breatharian thing, but was that then a catalyst for you to start fasting? Was you still doing the breath work and eating, or did you stop eating and then the breath work came in?
It was an interesting journey for me. It was very gradual for me as well. And I think that's what a lot of people don't see is like, it was kind of an overnight switch for me at first, but I'm looking back and I'm like, I've actually been preparing my body for this for 4 years. Like I really started fasting intermittently in 2016 is when I first heard about that. And then I was doing 1 to 2 to 3 day water fast, kind of just like experimenting, you know, starting with 1 day, then expanding it, then more and more and more. And I think that's really important. I don't think anybody who has never fasted before should go into a 10-day water fast or something really intense like that because your body's not used to it. It's really good to start with the 12 hours or the 16 hours and then kind of like build and work your way up. So that's kind of around the time where I was getting into juice fasting and liquid fasting and different things like that. I would go like 5 days liquids or whatever, you know, just kind of starting like really slow. And then as time went on, I was doing like month-long juice cleanses. This was back in like, I want to say like 2017, 2018. I was kind of experimenting with like month-long juice cleanses and liquid fasting and different things like that. And when I found the breath work in 2018, at the end of 2018, was when things really clicked for me where I was like, oh, wow, like, okay, I feel like I can go, like, this is a lifestyle, you know, this just isn't like a period for me. This isn't short for me. So the breath work made it a lot easier for me to make it more of like a daily thing and realizing like I don't need as much as I thought I did. So yes, in a way it was instant for me as soon as I found the breath, but also in a way I had been preparing, if that makes sense. Same for me too. It was, you know, going vegetarian, going pescatarian, going vegan, going raw vegan, going fruits, going, you know, following the steps. And I think that is super important because, I mean, you have to respect the journey. You have to trust the journey. It takes 21 years to be 21. You can't just be a breatharian overnight. So
no.
Yeah, taking the steps is really awesome. So that's cool that you're showing that.
Yeah. So it sounds like you also did it sort of unconsciously because when I started, I saw a guy who was talking about 7-day hard dry fast. And I jumped in first time, and that was the first one I did. I was very extreme in the first aspect. I just went 7 days, no food, no bathing, no water. And I just shut myself off from everybody. And it was amazing because I felt so great and connected after the first one I did. And then I started Googling, like, how long can you survive without water? And it says like 4 days. And I was thinking, well, I've just done 7. This is insane. And then I pushed on to do 14. But I mean, once I started looking into it, I really started to, I wanted to break down and understand how my body could survive and maybe put on muscle. Because when you look at other breatharians, they're all very slight in nature. For a lot of spiritual sort of breatharian type people, they're not very sort of in the gym or muscly, but then that's not the look they're going for. So I started to look into like sun gazing and grounding and breath work and just like tree hugging and every energy source I could get my hands on or my lungs on or my eyes on. How could I absorb as much energy without needing it? Because what I started to get shown was all the years I was eating meat and getting 270 grams of protein, I now only needed like 70 grams of protein, and that's plant-based. So what about if I didn't even need any protein? Because at the end of the day, all of these food things like carbs, proteins, fats, sugars, they're all man-made. They're all, science is a man-made thing. once one person believes something, it's a belief. But then when you make two people believe it, it becomes a reality. So if we're all believing and reading labels and looking at labels thinking we need this amount of protein, this amount of carbs, this and that, now we all believe it, it's a reality. But then if you really break it back, it's just a label on food. I actually believe if you change the label on a food, like a placebo effect, and you told someone this had 50 grams of protein in it when it only had like 5, that person's body, because they believed it had 50 grams of protein in it, their body would absorb 50 grams of protein. And I genuinely believe this. It's almost like such a strong placebo effect. And you've seen this with people like Dr. Joe Dispenza and people that have healed themselves with, I mean, I saw one crazy placebo effect where they got something like 1,000 people with hay fever, and they gave 333 of them the cure for it. They gave 330 of them something that antagonizes hay fever, and 333 people just a placebo. And interestingly enough, they all came out virtually the same, because the people that was given the antagonizer were told they had the cure. So even though they had something that was worse for them, because they were told they had the cure, their body created the chemical to cure themselves, even though they're having something that makes it worse. So it's amazing what the human mind can do.
Yeah, it's all power of belief.
Mm.
That's amazing. And you're really putting that to the test.
Mm.
Like you're really like testing it and showing that this is possible. And I love what you were saying about the power of belief when it comes to not losing weight. And I feel like I get that question a lot from people where they're like, how do you be breatharian and not lose weight? Because like I was saying this to you earlier, like I haven't really lost like a ton of weight. Like I'm not super skinny. You wouldn't see me on the street and be like, oh my God, that girl's skinny. Like it's not like that, you know?
No.
I feel like a huge thing for me has been the belief, has been the visualization. And it's the same thing for when you're going vegan, right?
Yeah.
When you go vegan, you switch your belief from I need meat to survive to I don't need meat to survive. I need vegetables to survive or whatever. So it's kind of the same processes and the same things in your mind where you're going from I need solid
100%.
food, or I need this food, I need to eat 3 times a day or this many calories or this much protein, to I'm good. You know, I'm fine. Everything else is extra. Everything else is just fun. And you probably feel that now on your liquid journey where it's like you may not even feel hungry, but the soups and the smoothies and everything are just kind of like extra. It's just fun.
Well, do you know what? I think because I've really been programming myself to believe that that we don't need food. When I do eat a soup that's quite thick now, my body doesn't want it. It makes me feel a little bit ill. So part of me has even though I'm still in the first 3 months where I can eat soups and smoothies, part of me is like, just sack it all off now but I really want to show people that I'm going to do it in 3 months. And because I said that, I'm going to stick with that goal. But part of me feels like I could step away from it now just by intentionalizing water. And we've spoken about this before. When I hold retreats where I take people into log cabins in the woods for like 7 days, and I train them how to survive without food and water. And on the last day, you intentionalize water. You put your intentions into the water, and then when you drink the water, because you're a little bit dehydrated, it's almost like changing the hard drive on a computer. Where you fast for so long, you use all the water in the fat cells like a camel, and we store a lot of emotions in the water in our bodies. It's been shown with a lot of studies recently that we store a lot of memory in water, and also with Masaru Emoto, when he talks about, and I saw you post the other day about it, I always use this in some of my talks, about how frequency and sound and the things we speak can affect the water in different ways. When you speak lovingly to water, it shows angelic crystalline sort of figures in it. And then when you speak negative words to it, it shows like cloudy, distorted water. And there's an interesting thing on YouTube called the rice test, which is by Masaru Emoto as well, where they take 3 tubs of rice and speak differently to it. And it shows you how the rice that's spoken to negatively or ignored goes moldy, but the one that's spoken to lovingly stays fresh for like 3 months. So this also happens with our internal thoughts. Whatever we think internally all the time, our cells are listening to. So one of the most powerful things I do when I'm fasting, and I'm not sure whether we've spoken about this before, I have a audio tape by a shaman husband and wife called Jose Luis Stevens and his wife. And on this audio book, he does about a 5 or 10 minute audio track where he goes through all of the organs and the cells in the body and speaks to them and says hello to them individually and tells them to refresh, rejuvenate, revitalize, remineralize, and raise to the highest
Whoa.
vibrational frequency. Now, if I'm hungry before I go to bed, I play this audiobook, and it's almost like commanding every cell in your body to regenerate. So then when you wake up in the morning, if you wake up feeling like, oh, I've had a full meal, this is brilliant. And this is how powerful the body is. We just haven't tapped into it yet.
Wow.
So I'm currently in the process of recording my own audio like this and pairing it with certain solfeggio frequencies, which have been shown to tune into the DNA more as well. So there's audios by people like You Are Creators on YouTube, where he pairs money affirmations with 528 hertz. But I want to do it with a fasting one where I talk about rejuvenating the cells and pair it with 528 hertz. So that's currently in the process of being produced at the moment. So
absolutely, that's amazing. Yeah, I love what you were saying too about the labels, how everything is energy, and like your food is kind of like listening to what you're saying and picking up the vibration that you're giving it. So whatever you're speaking to it and whatever you are thinking about it or even writing on it, that's what it adapts to. So you were saying something about like the can of beans. We'll say that on the label that it has 15 grams of protein, but part of that is us just giving the belief to the food that it has that protein, so it's nourishing us in that way.
Yeah, well, it's us giving our beliefs away to something. I mean, I've spoken to yogis that won't let their children drink water that's handed to them from someone who's angry, because that anger is absorbed into the water, then the child will then take on that anger. So this is again why we say grace in the religion. When we say grace before food, that's intentionalizing your food. So it's putting energy of gratitude into your food, and gratitude is one of the highest vibrations there is. Mm-hmm. So by putting that gratitude in, it goes into your aura, into your energy field, and then it's absorbed into your food. And studies have shown that if you eat vegetables that are grown by yourself, because that vegetable or fruit is around your auric field or your energy, it has more of what your body needs because it feeds off your energy. Mm. So this is the same as putting intention of saying grace to your food. It's really powerful stuff, but it's kind of got lost in a lot of religious teachings through metaphors and parables. But people are starting to wake up and realize this now. So
do you make all your own juices and smoothies and soups and everything?
When I can, not all the time. I'm a bit of a coffee fiend as well, which I tried to cut it out for a while, but I think because I enjoy coffee at the moment, is something that I do incorporate. I do mix it up between caffeinated and decaffeinated. Mm-hmm. But then there's studies that show that coffee is quite good for your liver and it's quite detoxifying, even if it does shred a few cells. And it's again, it's what belief you give to it, really, at the end of the day, isn't it? So
it's whatever you think about it. If you think that it's healing and detoxifying and helping you.
In fact, I saw one of your videos the other day where you was talking about like breath in the Bible, when it says about taking the first breath and that coming in. I mean, a lot of what I've been reading through like ancient scriptures and the emerald tablets and things like that, it pretty much says similar things. Like we began as a thought form, and then that thought form, from taking dust or from taking whatever, we built this carbon meat suit that we now embody. But at a subconscious level, if we take back all of the subconscious programming, and if you read the books, the 4 agreements or the 5 agreements, it says, in order to really find out who and what you are, you have to unlearn everything you've ever learned, because you've got so many different beliefs from other people that weren't really your beliefs. You've taken on this programming from other people that maybe you didn't even really want. And food is one of those for me. I mean, I used to be addicted to drugs, alcohol, sex, food, everything. So I really had to go through all of that old programming. And I won't say any of them are bad, because if I wanted to go out and do drugs again, or I want to go out and have a rampage of sleeping with loads of people, I don't see it as a bad thing. If I want to do it, I'll go and do it. Mm-hmm. There's no shame or guilt in that, because it's when you give shame or guilt to it, again, you're giving your energy away to it and you're demonizing something. But if you take your energy back from everything and then you choose very preciously what you allow your energy to go to, things become a whole lot easier to create. It's really interesting and beautiful.
That's so interesting. Yeah, you actually inspired me to start charging my water, because when you start looking into like the belief and, you know, the things that we're giving to our energy, our body is 70% water. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
hearing everything that we're saying. It's hearing all the vibration that we're sending. Like it's reacting to everything. So I
Yes.
actually have my little note cards here. So this one, I think I should.
Ah,
This
amazing.
one says love and gratitude, and then you gave me the idea to put the nourishment on the water too.
Yes.
So this one was nourishment. It's probably backwards. Total nourishment, vitamins, minerals, health, and vitality.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I've just been putting my water on top of it and let it sit for like overnight or something. And I had to
Perfect.
have the belief, I'm just like drinking it, saying, thank you for nourishing me. Thank you for giving me all that I need. And
Yes.
I feel so good.
Perfect. Well, you're already like steps ahead of me, because that's what I'll be doing on the 6th month of this year. I'll be showing people how I do that. And another great thing to do, if you want to write it down, is to buy the crystal shungite. Shungite was found in Russian caves, and they found in the caves that the water that was in the caves was like the purest water there was. It purifies water. So a lot of people buy like water bottles and fill it with shungite crystals and then purify their water in it.
I actually have a little piece. It's like this small.
Okay, yeah. You might want a bigger bit, unless you've got like a 500ml bottle.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yes, I'm looking forward to doing some breath work with you, because I mean, I started off, it was just Wim Hof, Wim Hof?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I started off doing a bit of Wim stuff and then had a few breathwork lessons. In fact, the first one I had was out in Ibiza. I went out of season to Ibiza before I was heading from Ibiza to Barcelona, and then Barcelona to the French Pyrenees Mountains to study astral projection and lucid dreaming.
Wow.
But I had some breathwork lessons, and all I could say was I had like this full body orgasm where I passed out. And I come back and I said to this girl that was teaching me, I was like, if you'd have taught me how to do that 10 years ago, I probably would have saved £500,000 on drugs, because I would have just sat in my bedroom and I would have just done breath work instead of sniffing loads of cocaine and spending on ecstasy.
Gosh.
It would have saved me a fortune. So I wasn't aware that you could produce DMT. And I think this thing should be taught in schools, because, I mean, breath work, meditation and yoga downright should be taught in every school across the world, because it's life-changing, and it's some of the most important life lessons I've ever learned. And I didn't learn them until I was like 33.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's crazy because I actually had experimented with plant medicine before I found the breath. So I'd done ayahuasca, excuse me. I'd done the mushrooms and I'd done the mushrooms, and I'd had these out-of-body experiences,
Amazing.
And so when I came to the breath, and when my first experience with breath work, I was completely like out of body. I was seeing colors. I was sensing different things. I was getting messages and downloads, and like I felt like I wasn't even in the room that I was in.
Yep.
And
amazing.
I was shocked, because I was like, oh my gosh, like what's even the point of these medicines if you have this all within you? And then you start looking into it, and it's like, okay, the active ingredient in ayahuasca is DMT, which stands for dimethyltryptamine. And It is this molecule, they call it the spirit molecule. It is the molecule that is activated when you are born and when you die.
Yes.
So
they call it the spirit molecule, don't they?
Yeah, the spirit molecule. So It's kind of like that feeling in the movies when they say, my life flashed before my eyes, where everything makes sense. It's connection, clarity, vision. You just feel like oneness with the universe, all these things. And what they don't tell you is that DMT is actually stored and created in the lungs. So you don't have a limited supply. You don't have only this much.
It's abundant.
Yeah, it's actually created as you breathe. So when you're doing breathing exercises, you're creating and releasing it into the brain, so you can have these similar experiences.
Well, something you might want to try, but I started practicing breath work in the steam room at the gym. And you can actually produce, whereas to produce DMT and to get the feeling I need to doing breath work, normally it would take me, say, 5 minutes to build up to it, to really get that disconnection where you get the pop and everything's like, whoa, you feel connected to everything. If you do it in the steam room, you can do it in 30 seconds. But the problem is, I'd advise to have someone in the steam room, because I did it once and I had this amazing bang, and I woke up and I was face down on the floor, covered in blood, and I just passed out in there.
You passed out?
I passed out. I just went bang, and I woke up. But when I woke up, I was in such a high. I was covered in blood, but I was like, wow. I was like, I walked out the steam room, and I was like, people were like, he's covered in blood, but he looks really happy. Like, it was, so yeah, if you're going to do it in the steam room, make sure you've got someone with you.
Yeah.
But I'd be interested to hear your results from trying it in the steam room, because I think because of the lack of oxygen in there, and obviously the steam in the air, it brings it out a lot quicker. So I don't know if it's something you've tried before, or
no, I've
something
never tried
to
steam
make.
room. I've done breath work in the sauna, like a dry sauna,
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, fiery nostrils.
Yeah, that's really, it's different ways that you can do it. You know, there's like different types of, there's like the rebirthing breath work where they do it in the water. And the
Okay.
whole idea around that is to basically reenact your birthing process, because a lot of times what happens nowadays with the birthing process is it's extremely traumatic for babies, right? You're being born into this room with bright lights, the doctor's hitting you, it's, you know, you're coming out of this comfortable warm womb, you're being vaccinated, taken away from your mom, you're crying, you know, all these different things, like they're clipping the cord, like everything all at once. Like
I had the umbilical cord around my neck, so I was trying to hang myself on the way out.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But, you know, a lot of us are carrying these beliefs that the world is not a friendly place, and that we're traumatized literally from the first breath that we take, or maybe even before the first breath that we take. And so there's processes that you can do through the breath to bring yourself back to that and to heal those beliefs. And it's incredibly life-changing. So they do breath work in the sauna, they do breath work in water or hot tubs to kind of recreate that feeling of the womb.
Yes.
There's so many different ways to do it, you know.
Well, do you know, I went down to I went for a swim down in one of the seas in the coastal seas in the UK recently, which people think you're off your fucking head, because it's like it's like 4 degrees less than that. It's pretty cold. So there's people looking at us like it's absolutely crazy. But this lady does breathwork journeys in bathtubs on the beach full of ice.
Oh, okay.
And that looks pretty amazing, because there's saunas there as well, saunas and steam rooms, and then bathtubs full of ice. So I'm very interested to try that out, because it looks like a whole different journey, and it'll be interesting to see what comes up.
Have you done any of the ice baths or cold therapy?
Yeah, so I actually have a river just down the road from my house. So I've gone down and got in that a few times. But I mean, you come out of that and you can't even feel your feet. It's pretty cold.
Wow. Yeah, that's intense.
But again, when you get your breath work right in a situation like that, I can stay in there for like 20 minutes.
Yeah, I believe it. Yeah, I definitely haven't got up to that point, but I've seen people do it in like 15, 20 minutes in the ice baths. And
because what's the temperature like at your LA, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah,
I mean, it's probably pretty warm out there now, isn't it?
60 or 70 degrees during the day.
Wow.
Yeah. Warm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
it's pretty cold here.
Yeah, for sure.
So what you got planned for the rest of the day? Anything good?
I'm just going to be creating and working and doing yoga, breath work, just enjoying my day.
Cool.
Yeah. What about you?
Well, it is, it's 7:00 here now. So Valentine's Day is almost over, but this Valentine's Day has been more about self-love for me. So I spent so many years trying to love other people without realizing that I didn't love myself at all. So it's just complete waste of time, every relationship I ever had. Because if you don't love yourself, how can you expect anybody else to love you? So, and it's a whole interesting topic. I mean, I used to find that if I had jealousy, then every relationship I'd have, that jealousy would come out in that relationship to show me that I had this issue. And until I actually spent a period of time on my own, like a year or 2 years, and really worked on myself, that's when your vibration starts to draw the right people to you, right? So, it's interesting. I'm probably going to take myself off to the gym, sit in the steam room, sit in the sauna. Won't be doing any breath work today, so don't worry. I won't be seeing you with a black eye next time.
Yeah, you'll need a facilitator next time to catch you.
Yeah, or maybe do it up against the wall.
Yeah, that's never happened to me before. I've never like passed out, but I've had people send me pictures of them like of that happening, and I'm like, that's crazy. Like, I'll get to that point one day.
Yeah, no, it was interesting because literally I was sitting right by a swimming pool in Ibiza, and the girl was like, when you passed out, if you'd have got in the pool, I couldn't have got you out because you're too heavy.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was your first time doing breath work?
Yeah, it was. Yeah. And it was, after that, I was hooked. I was just like, wow. I even actually thought at one point I'm just going to sit in the house for the next 3 months and practice breath work, because every time I go back to it, every time I have, say, a 2-week period where I don't do any breath work, I come back and I just realize how important it is, because when I don't do it, that's when I really start to, it tends to be the catalyst for me to stop doing other things. Mm-hmm. When I'm doing breath work, because I feel so great, I'm doing the meditations, I'm doing the yoga, doing the stretching, I'm keeping a healthy body, mind, spirit and soul. But when the breath work goes out, it kind of is the catalyst for those other things to stop. It really brings me into the body and makes me present and aware. So
yeah, I agree. It makes everything easier. It makes whatever you want to do easier. It makes your work easier, makes your yoga easier, makes
100%
easier. I mean, that's how you know you're really a breatharian, because you're using the breath as the base of your energy and the base of your source of everything that you need. And I mean, when you think about it though, we're all breatharians. Like, everybody's breatharian, because without the breath, we wouldn't even be alive. We wouldn't be here.
Nah.
You can't do anything without your breath. So people who say that you don't have time to do breath work, you actually don't have time not to do breath work, because it's the base of everything. It makes everything so much better and so much easier and enjoyable.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think it's really the thing that myself and yourself are probably making people more aware of is that a lot of people are just shallow breathers. It's not until you really start breathing into the pits of your stomach and almost trying to breathe into your feet that you really start to realize breathing properly is so much more than just breathing. It's actually trying to fill your whole body with air and light, because that's how you are connected the whole time. It's our energy system. We have 114 chakras in our bodies. Most of them are in your hands and feet. It's been shown now that if you're about to take place in a car accident, your palms will actually start to sweat about 3 to 4 seconds before that accident happens, because the chakras in your hands and your aura pick up on the vibration of the accident happening before it actually happens. And you can tune yourself in to this more and more by just working on all of your energy system. So yes, it's just been the last 3 or 4 years of finding out what I am, and energetically what I am spiritually. And it's almost like all these Marvel films that create these superheroes. We have most of these abilities. Stan Lee. I've been researching a guy recently who lives out in Fort Lauderdale in Florida. Mm-hmm. He can actually perform telekinesis, which is being able to move something without touching it. And I've been really working on to see how this works, because now I can tune myself in to see energy and to see auras. I'm kind of thinking now I can see the energy between me and a cup. All I need to do is figure out how to manipulate that energy between me and the cup, and then I can move the cup without touching it, because we're all connected. And if we're all energy vibrating at a certain frequency, all I need to do is match my vibration frequency to what I want to move, then I can move it. And this guy, when you watch videos of him, they've done brain scans, and he meditates when you meditate, most people go through a theta brainwave. It goes delta, theta, and then we've got alpha, beta, and gamma. Mm-hmm. But he goes into a theta brainwave, and then just before he moves something, I think it jumps up to like a gamma, or so the brainwave goes really. And if you think about it, every thought is a vibration. So he's obviously going down into very, very small vibrational brainwaves, and then jumping to such a high vibration, that vibration sending out, and that's what's moving it. So until you actually sit down and try to scientifically work out how these things work, once you start putting your attention and energy on them, it starts getting broken down to you, and you start to see how these things work, because all the veils start to come down. Because as Tony Robbins says, wherever you put your attention is where your energy goes, where your energy flows. Mm-hmm. Then obviously things get more apparent through the bridge of incidents or synchronicity. You start to see these things unravel. So it's just amazing. I think the human race in the next 5 years is just going to go more in the next 5 years than we've done in the last 200 years put together.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah. You're showing us that we really are we have superpowers.
Well, you can see it, right? It's once you start being shown it in a way where it's almost understandable, or broken down in a way where it's amazing. When I tell people the journey that I've had, they say it's not possible. But then when you start to say, well, I started off having baths in pink Himalayan salt, it contains 84 of the 90 minerals, they start to think, okay, so you're not just going from nothing to that. there is a bridge of incidents that gradually breaks it down so that all the subconscious programming unravels, and then you realize that you didn't need it in the first place. But because we've been programmed generationally, our parents were programmed, so we're not just working out our programs, we're working out ancestral programs from thousands of years ago. But we're doing it, and it's happening. And you see, like, I mean, even at the Oscars recently, and all of the Golden Globes, and everyone's now going vegan. I think the largest dairy company in the world went into liquidation recently. So it's amazing how things are changing so quickly. Here in the UK last year, we had 600,000 vegans. This year it's 1.8 million. So it's like nearly triple.
It was really interesting. I went to an event the other day, I think it was Wednesday night in Los Angeles, and they had like someone walking around with coffee, and they had like little shot glasses of oat milk that you could put in your coffee. And they had, the lady came up to me, she goes, "Do you want coffee? I have oat milk and almond milk." And I said, "Do you have dairy milk?" Not that I drink dairy, I was just curious if they even had an option. She goes, "Oh yeah, I can get that for you if you want. We just don't have it available." And I was like, this is amazing. I love the future. Like, I love where this is going, how that's not even an option anymore.
Yeah. So what's that of interest? What's your favorite plant-based milk?
I like coconut milk.
Okay. We have this amazing one here in the UK. I don't think you guys can get it. It's called Rebel Milk. And it is coconut cream, cashew milk, pink Himalayan salt, spring water, and yeast.
Oh.
And it tastes like heaven in a carton. It's absolutely amazing. If you mix it with Amazing Grass protein shake, it's like the best milkshake you've ever had with organic fruits and vegetables. It's anyone who says they can't find vegan alternatives to proteins and stuff, they're just talking out their arse, or they're not looking properly, because
there's so many.
I actually prefer all of the vegan alternatives now. And the great thing is, when you make a vegan protein shake or a vegan amino acid and you leave it for longer than half an hour, it doesn't smell like a badger's asshole. I mean, I've thrown away so many protein cups because whey protein, when you leave it for longer than 30 minutes, it smells like something's crawled into your protein shaker and died.
Yeah.
And it's the same with amino acids as well. But I've got a vegan amino acid thing over there. I haven't washed it for over 2 weeks. And that sounds disgusting, but it still smells fresh as a daisy because it's not got anything dyed in it. Mm-hmm. And not a lot of people realize amino acids are actually made out of duck feathers, pig's blood, or horse's hair. And you think that absolutely stinks when you leave it for a while. But the vegan ones are all plant-based. So there's nothing smells. It smells like daisies and roses. It's lovely.
Yeah, because it's all grass and different things.
Yeah, exactly.
I really love the hemp milk. Like, I'll make my own hemp milk, just hemp seeds, dates, vanilla, salt, and water.
Yeah.
You just blend that.
Do you make your own?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I make my own of that. It's interesting you said Rebel, because we do have Rebel drinks here at Whole Foods in America, and it's like chocolate milk. It's like a coconut milk-based chocolate milk. But it's not what we're describing. It's not as healthy as
I'm going to send you a link and show you the pictures, because you might be able to find it. They do a skimmed, a semi-skimmed, and a whole one. The whole one is, you pour it out and it's like cream. But it's lovely. I mean, if you're for this transition period I'm doing, if I really want to get some calories in, a whole carton contains 700 calories. So although it doesn't contain much protein, if you're going to mix it with like, I mean, I'm a big fan of the Amazing Grass products, and it's quite difficult for us to get all the flavors over here because it's an American company, but it's one of the only proteins I can find with virtually no stabilizers in it. It's got a lot of organic fruits and vegetables in it. It's got spirulina, chlorella. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's probably one of the best protein shakes I can find. And it's quite expensive, but I'd rather go for quality than quantity any day of the week, because I'm very, very precise about not only the foods I'm putting in my body, but the energies I'm surrounding myself with. Like, I won't stand around people that are moaning about the government or moaning about traffic, because I just think it's just, I can feel the vibration. I just don't want to be around it. So I don't spend too much time in built up cities. I love spending time in nature. I'm just a lot more energy aware now. And I think a lot of people are becoming a lot more energy sensitive and realizing that we are energetic beings. I think you guys, it's amazing, because when people from America come to my talks, it's almost like you guys are onto it a lot more than we are over here. I don't know if it's because we're more condensed and built up over here, but you guys seem to get it a little bit better, is what I'm finding so far.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like a lot of people are starting to open their minds to things, and it's just the shift in energy. We're coming into a new age, and I think a lot of people are realizing like what we've been doing isn't necessarily working, and we're going in a different direction. We're moving in a different direction.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've definitely felt the sensitivities and to energy, to people, to places, and things like that. And I only really started feeling that in the last few months since I started practicing breath work. I wasn't really like that before. And maybe the fasting too. The fasting really brings you back to yourself, and anything that comes into your auric field or into your room or into your place, like you sense everything.
Mm-hmm. Do you, because obviously doing the energy work, your energy centers are going to be very cleansed anyway, but do you do much work, say combine breath work with a meditation to go through your chakras? Obviously the 7 main ones, but have you looked into the rest of them, or really focused on? No,
I didn't even know we had 140. Would you say 114 or
114? So some people say 112, some people say 114, and that's within the body. So there's also some outside of us that we're connected to, and then we're connected to everyone anyway. As you know, we are all just energy vibrating at a certain frequency. So when you realize that, that's why I'm deciding to go completely breatharian for a period of time at the end of the year. I wrote an article about 2 years ago where I said, I believe the human race will only eat food for pleasure by 2026. And it's not my plan to go breatharian because I don't enjoy food. I want to do it to show that we don't need it. And then I want to come back to eating just for pleasure. I mean, I think Ray Moore said he just won't eat for 3 or 4 days. And then when he eats, he'll eat something he really wants to eat. Mm-hmm. Now that's a great way of doing it. It's like intuitive eating, because then when you eat that, you'll have so much gratitude and appreciation for it. Mm-hmm. That will be in your auric field. That food will absorb your gratitude and appreciation, and then you're going to eat that energy back. So it makes you appreciate the food a lot more. And the way I think we should all be, as going breatharian, should be pointing this out to people, is if people were to fast for 16 to 18 hours a day, your body uses all the cells that are shit for energy. So there'd be a lot less people getting ill. I haven't been ill for like 3 or 4 years, because your body utilizes all the weakest cells for energy first, which in effect, you're left with the strongest version of yourself. But on top of that, if you was to fast for 16, 18 hours a day, you'd only really be eating 1 big meal a day, which means we'd have a third less packaging. We'd have a third less plastics. We'd have a third less people taking pharmaceuticals, because you wouldn't need as many pharmaceuticals, because you'd everybody I know that fasts for a certain amount of time. I mean, dogs, if you look at dogs when they're sick, they eat grass till they throw up, and then they won't eat again until they're well. And this is because your body has a mechanism in it that when you're ill, if you don't eat, you utilize all the sickness and the illness to actually get yourself better again. Mm-hmm. So I just think people haven't been made aware of this enough. And I think the pharmaceutical industry is to blame for most of that, because obviously they want to keep you in the loop of using these pharmaceutical drugs. And then when you're using one of them, you have to take another one to come off of it. And it just keeps you in that vicious circle. But as I said, people are really waking up now. So it's amazing to see.
Yeah, and it's crazy to see when you start to wake up, you realize all the lies that you have been told about food, that you need to eat 3 times a day. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You need protein, you need dairy, and you start seeing it everywhere on billboards and advertisements and these things. And it's like, wow, what are they trying to do? What are they really hiding from us?
Well, I heard a statistic the other day that in America, people eat 6 times a day now, once you include like coffees and cakes and snacks. But
that's probably true.
I mean, going back again, because I studied a lot of ancient readings from before the Bible, like the Tablet of Kish and the Emerald Tablets and things like that. And Thoth, or Tahoti, or I like to say it as Talt, the ancient Egyptian god, actually said that when you eat food, it keeps your soul away from your body. And the way I see that is, if we are energy vibrating at a certain frequency, when you put that foreign energy into your energy field, you have to process it and work it out. And we had this conversation before, but this is the reason I stopped eating meat, was because you see all these animals and the way they're being kept before they're killed. And obviously before they're killed, they know and they're scared. That energy is within that meat. So that meat's got a lot of stress. It's got a lot of anger. It's got a lot of it's got a lot of fear in it. So then when you eat that energy, you're putting that fear-based energy into your body, and your body has now got to process that. And I used to suffer from anxiety quite a lot. And this was one of the reasons I used to take a lot of drugs, was because of this anxiety. Now, when I was younger, in my early 20s, I was taking steroids. And if you're putting testosterone into your body, you're putting that testosterone energy into your body's own testosterone goes up. So why people would not think, if you're going to eat that form of meat that's got stress in it, you're not then going to become stressed, is a little bit beyond me. Because once you put that stress energy into your body, you've now got to work that shit out. So you're just making yourself anxious. You're making yourself... And when I stopped eating meat, it all changed. My anxiety went, my stress went, my addiction went. And what I began to realize was I wasn't ever addicted to anything outside of myself, because the only thing I was addicted to is thinking. Because if you're overthinking, it's like a computer running too many programs. It just starts to shut down and you start to panic. But when you meditate and you stop thinking, if we're having 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, you need to have at least 10 minutes where you just cut that shit off, so that you just chill for a bit, and then you can reboot and you start again, and everything's amazing. So it's
the whole meditation, breath work, time out, like all of that is so important, because you're checking in with yourself.
Right. Do you know what we need to get together and write? We need to write a human instruction manual, because when you're born, you don't get an instruction manual to this shit. You have to work it out yourself. So now we need to create a human instruction manual. So when people are born, you go, there you go, mate, have that.
Yeah,
and you go, oh, right, okay, page 2. This is what I need to do. I need to meditate, because if I think too much, I'm going to get loads of addictions and anxiety. Brilliant. I'll remember that.
That's what I would love to see from you in like modern day language. Because like we have the Bean Gospel of Peace, we have the Emerald Tablets, we have the Bible, we have like all these things, but it's like
all these metaphors and parables.
Yeah, and it's confusing to a lot of people, because it's like, wait, what do I actually do? How do I live my life?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. That's why we have coaches.
Yep.
That's why you do.
Yeah, true. So I actually see now, when I read all of these different books or tablets, the Quran, the Judeo-Christian Bible, the Emerald Tablets, I actually see how they're all one book, really, how that correlates to that and that correlates to that. And it's just been changed over the years and adapted so that different people understand it. So maybe it's time for us to write a new version.
I think so. If it's been, 2,000 years since the last one?
Yep.
Or maybe
something like that.
Yeah.
Who's counting, right?
Yeah, who's counting?
We've probably had various different lifetimes in between them anyway, so.
Yeah, definitely. I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's your next project.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So have you been over to the UK before?
I have. I've been twice. I went last year.
Ah, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
What did you think, apart from being cold and wet?
I was very cold. So the first trip I did Ireland, Scotland, and England, and like went around everywhere. And it was awesome, but I didn't feel like the people were very friendly at all.
Oh, really? In London, then not?
No.
I haven't done Scotland. I really want to go up there, actually.
Scotland was the least friendliest.
Right. Scotland's very much what we call like local people. So when you walk into a pub, everyone's like, what are they doing here?
Yeah, I guess so. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I have a friend that lives in Rugby, England. So
where?
Rugby.
Okay.
I think it's near Brighton.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've gone out to.
So I thought you were talking about the sport.
Yeah, no, the city is called Rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's interesting, but I love it out there.
Brighton's lovely though.
Mm-hmm.
Did you go to Brighton?
No, I didn't get to see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Have you been to the States lately?
I've only done Atlanta and New York, but I would like to come out and do. I've got a friend that has got a nightclub hosting company in Vegas, and I feel like it's something I want to do at some point, because obviously it's like Disneyland for adults, isn't it? So
yeah,
you go there quite a bit, don't you?
I lived in Vegas.
Oh, cool.
I spent a lot of time there. Yeah, it's really intense. That's kind of where my healing journey started, which was really interesting. I started getting into fasting and really like deep detox when I was living in Las Vegas. And
detox in Vegas. It's not like something you put 2 and 2 together, is it?
I was not balanced at all, because I was still partying and I was still drinking, but then I was also trying to do like watermelon fasts and like grape juice fasts and and all these things, So I was like really not balanced. I was back and forth, but it's an interesting place. You'll definitely feel a lot of energy being there.
Yeah.
And it feels very fresh. The city is not even 100 years old, established. So
Wow.
everything's very new.
Cool.
Yeah. But you'll have to
Yeah.
come
So
out to
apart from
California.
that, I've done Atlanta and New York, but I'd quite like to come out and do Canada as well.
Canada's
Canada
beautiful.
looks beautiful, and the energy there just looks so revitalizing.
It's pure. Yeah, it's really beautiful. You'll have to come out to California sometime too.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know what? I've got a real strong calling to come to California. In fact, I've seen several psychic mediums that told me I'm going to have a retreat in California at some point. So
Wow.
definitely on the cards.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Hmm.
Cool.
What about yourself? Do you host many retreats at the moment?
I've never done a retreat.
Okay, cool.
I'm planning one for this year in May. I'm
Yeah.
just looking for a place to do it and, get everything sorted. But I want to do like a weekend liquid and breathwork fasting retreat.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, awesome. Well, yeah, keep me updated on that, because it'd be great to collaborate on something soon as well. So, because it's been interesting watching your journey. I think we've been friends on Facebook for like over a year or so.
Oh, yeah.
But like only really just started talking in the last like couple of months or something. So,
yeah, it's been interesting because we're both sharing so much about our journey too. Just like being open. This is what's going on, and yeah, incredible.
Cool. Yeah, I just want to say I appreciate all the work you've done on yourself, because it's been inspiring for me watching your journey as well. So, and seeing someone who's completely the opposite side of the world from me doing what I was doing when I thought I was being weird was just like so refreshing. So
I still feel like I'm being weird.
Yeah. It's funny because I do, but then I almost when I first started this journey, I'd really pick my battles and pick who I choose to talk to, because I almost felt a little bit. I didn't want to be confronted by someone, because my energy wasn't strong enough to hold. If someone questioned me too much about not eating, I mean, now I actually go out looking for arguments about it. It's almost like I feel so standing strong in my energy with this that it's like I started a conversation with someone in the hospital today who was sitting next to me, and this lady's like 80 years old, and she's like, well, you do really need to eat. And then once I've spoken to her, she's like, wow, I'm really going to try this fasting. And I was like, well, make sure if you do, you make sure you're doing all these right things and you're doing this and that. But all I'd say is look into every single aspect about it and go with what feels right with your intuition and your gut. Because, I mean, most people don't realize that your gut feeling is your lower 3 chakras and your intuition is your top 3 chakras. So when you get a combination of the two together, it's almost like your vibration pulls you towards it. It feels right. You resonate towards it, and you know that's right for you. Right. And instead of using your monkey mind or your brain to make decisions, when we start doing it from a place of using our intuition and our gut, it's almost like you're put. Joseph Campbell, the teacher and philosopher, said every decision you make should be for your highest. So I say enjoyment, because I believe enjoyment should be spelled INJOY instead of EN, because it's from enjoy, from within you. And then when you make every decision from within you for joy, it's like everything around you becomes joy. And you guys out in the States know this anyway, because you've got so many amazing coaches like Bruce Lipton and Dr. Joe Dispenza. And you've got so many great coaches out there. It's just unbelievable.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah, it's all of. I spell it that way too. The INJOY, enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So, have you got any not any retreats, but any spiritual leaders or yogis or energy coaches or anyone in particular that you follow that you're really interested in? Apart from me, obviously.
Of course. Akai and Camilla are dear to my heart. I've always looked up to them. Do you know them?
Okay. Who's that?
Akai and Camilla.
Okay.
Breatharian teachers.
I've never heard of them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The Pranic Lifestyle Summit that I was on a few weeks ago, they were the ones organizing it.
Oh, amazing.
It. So they do a lot of events and things like that. And they also host the 8-day process, the Breatharian process. So I went to Costa Rica almost a year ago, and I did the 8-day process with them. And they taught me a lot about the breath work and just the lifestyle of fasting and the lifestyle of breatharianism. They've been on this path for 12 years. So, and they have 2 kids. They're very integrated into daily life. So I appreciate that, because when I first started on the breatharian path and kind of really getting into this, I thought that I couldn't be a breatharian until I was living in the jungle or the mountain or tucked away. You know, I was like, society and breatharianism can't really go hand in hand. Like I was trying to figure it out.
The social side's hard, isn't it?
Yeah, it is kind of hard. But after I met them, you know, they were ones that were really like, you know what, you can still do the things that you love. You can still, you know, wear the normal clothes and get your nails done and like, you know, do all these things that like I thought were separate. I thought that I had to be something completely different. So they were people that I felt like very grounded to me and very much like supportive of the journey in that way. So that's really cool. I do love Dr. Joe Dispenza. I think all his work is incredible because he's a literal medical doctor that's out here talking about Kundalini rising, third eye opening, breath work, chakra, energy center alignment, chakra alignment. You know, he's taking all of the yogic terms and the things that we've been talking about and learning in yoga for a long time and bringing the medical perspective and bringing the two together so that people can really understand what all of this actually means from a scientific side. So I think that's super incredible.
He's got a meditation called Blessings of the Energy Centers. So if you wanted to go through your 7 main energy centers and bless them and do a meditation around that, I'd really recommend listening to his one. But I'd really like to talk to him because his main thing is talking and teaching people how to become less particle, more wave. But he's never talked about fasting. And what I found was I studied everything from becoming supernatural to the placebo effect and getting to a theta brainwave and accessing your subconscious, and becoming more wave and less particle is fasting, because if you're putting food into your body, you're becoming more particle. Whereas when you put less food into your body, you become more wave. So it's something I really think I haven't heard him talk about. And it's something that I'd really like to bring to his attention, that by fasting for a few days, you can actually become more wave and less particle. So I'm definitely going to try, and if he's coming to the UK or anywhere in Europe, I'd even fly out to the States if I found an event that was coming up soon.
He does events all the time. So he's got a website. You can look and see like his entire schedule for the year and plan.
Yeah, interestingly, I think he's doing a wine tasting one soon.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, cool. I think he's quite into his wine. So that'd be quite interesting.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, cool. Go and get on the grape juice with Joe Dispenza.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Cool.
Well, I think this is a good place to end.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll let you get off and enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day. You've got a whole day to go yet. So
yeah, this is an incredible conversation, though. Thank you so much for talking and sharing everything that you know, and I feel so inspired.
Yeah, cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
awesome.
Definitely.
Well, I look forward to seeing the video back because I'll watch it when you finish editing it.
Awesome.
So
I'll probably upload it this weekend.
Cool.
All right, cool. Well, thank
you so
much.
Enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Bye now.
See you later.